Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is April the 5th, and I wanted to make this video for you to show you some of the things that need to be in your portfolio. Please excuse me if you hear my neighbors upstairs. I'm shooting this video from home, and I thank Mr. Misfir Al-Yami for allowing me to use his portfolio for this video. This is your cover page, the first page that should be in your portfolio. As you can see here, he has his name, his ID, the class number or the class that he is in, Class E, and his level. This is his communication portfolio, and this is for Term 1. This is the second page of his portfolio, the portfolio checklist. The first page of the portfolio checklist, which has written there all of the quizzes that you have taken in the class and whether we have revised those quizzes or not. Every week we take a quiz and we revise the quiz. You need to write that in here. If you were absent, say that you were absent, and in this case, week 6 we were on vacation, and in week 7 we were testing, so there were no quizzes. If we do the quiz and we revise the quiz, then sign, I sign, and I should date that. The things that we do week by week are on the back page of the portfolio checklist. As you can see on the left, there are numbers 1, 2, 3 through 7. That represents the weeks. So for week number 1, the 3 assignments that are in the portfolio should be there. So for example, you can see in week 2, we did a recording. There was an introduction to the recording. We did some error correction, and there was a circle, a life circle, as an exercise that we did in class. That was in the week of the 26th of February. He signed and I have signed. Now you can see I have written an I in a few places here, or I'm sorry, that is a 1 and a 2. But if I write incomplete on your portfolio, it means that you did not complete the assignment for that week. Yeah, I need you to write these things into your portfolio checklist every week. If you do them, I'll sign off, you'll sign off, and we'll give you a grade for that. It's due initially on Thursday, and if I've given you assignments late on Wednesday or Thursday and you need time to do them, then at the latest on Sunday. So it's either you have all of your assignments done and I've checked them, or you get 0. Just a small note on some of these things that you have checked off in the first part of the program. Now that we are in week 8, we've taken our placement test, and I think it's important for you to now come back to this section to see indeed, can you do these things that you thought you could do in the beginning of the program? Yeah? You've stated that there are a number of things that you thought you were able to do in the beginning of the program. It's now time to go back and have a look at that and to see if you have made some progress. This is very important. This portfolio is about progress. It is not just about gathering papers together and putting them in the folder. So go back and have a look at this to make sure that you can do things that you were not able to do before. What you see here is the third page in the portfolio, the student's self-assessment, or an assessment of his self, his ability, things that he thinks that he can do. Try your best to fill out this paper and make sure that You filled out this paper to the best of your ability. If you have questions, you can always ask. This page comes after your self-assessment. It is specific to your level, and you can use this page as a target for some of the things that you should be able to do and understand after studying with us in this program. They're listed by skill here: listening, reading, spoken interaction and production, as well as writing. So when you finish studying with us in this program, you should be able to do some of these things. You should be able to understand in your reading and in your listening some of the topics that we've talked about. For example, families, hobbies, holidays, work, jobs, shopping, etc. And you should be able to speak and write about them. And the evidence is in this portfolio. You should be able to turn to any page in this portfolio and demonstrate your ability to understand and to produce language on these topics, and using the language that we studied within our classes. This sheet here is or contains a breakdown of the assessment, how we're going to assess you, and it is also translated. So have a look at it, and this comes after or before the first page or the first week in your portfolio. Have a look at it. There's a translation here on the bottom, and there is a breakdown of how you are going to be assessed in this program. If you have any questions, let us know. It is important that every week you have this cover page there. The cover page should have the week, your level, your name and my name, as well as the date, and the assignments that we done for that week. These assignments are also listed on the portfolio checklist. One thing that you can see here from Ms. Fear's portfolio is that he has his own separators, and he's likewise put some tabs there to help him. Likewise, he has a colored page here to the left to help him out with separating from week 1 to week 2. I'm sure this is helpful for him. Is it something that you have to do? No, but the more you do, the better. I think it is important that we are able to talk about those things which we see in the portfolio. If you have a link to an audio file, like this one that he has here at the bottom of the page, then please put it there so that we can go and have a listen, or that anyone that listens or that looks at your portfolio can go and have a listen to the audio that you created and any feedback I've given you. What's important about this portfolio is progress and your ability to demonstrate or to show us what you can do. So for example, if someone comes to our class to have a look at your portfolio, you should be able to explain what we see here. For example, what is a life circle? Who is Salim? And if the aim of this exercise was to ask questions yourself to others, then you should be able to ask us some questions or answer questions about the things inside the circle. For example, do you drive a GMC? Why did you write Kepsa inside of the circle? What happened in 1993? As we mentioned before, this portfolio should show how you can use your English. So when you look inside and when you review and you look over your portfolio, you should be able to talk about the things inside. For example, what are these percentages on the left here? What does this represent? If someone comes and they ask you to explain, can you explain? Can you talk about the things inside? This is very important. So when you look at your portfolio, look at it and try to review some of the things that you are doing inside, so that you can talk about it. You can think about the language that we worked on in class to talk about the things that are inside. As we mentioned before, we want you to think deeply about some of the things that we do in class. You should be able to talk about these things and explain. If people come to our program to see the kinds of work that we do, you should be able to talk about and use the language that we focused on in class to talk about the various things that you see inside of the portfolio. As part of your portfolio, you should see inside markings, things that I have looked at and corrected for you. And what you should try to do is fix those things. And in the portfolio samples or the entries that you put there in the future, we should see that you made some improvement on your work based on these markings or these corrections that have been made inside your portfolio. I encourage you boys to use one another as resources. Talk to one another about the things that are inside your portfolio. Every person's work is going to be his work, but help each other. Help each other with the uploading of files onto their Google Drive. Likewise, share your successes, things that you've done well, and things that you would like to improve about your portfolio. Help others with their organization. And communicate.